This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
Yeah, I think, for us as a staff getting back off the road, the kids having some time with just Coach Dom and being away from it a little bit, our energy's been really good. I think they're excited to play in the game. Based on, my experiences, a lot of this is when you get into playoffs or postseason games, who really wants to play and win? And, you'd be surprised at all levels. There's times where the kids aren't that excited to play in games, or they are, and our kids are, they're really excited. I think they're eager. They know it's a big challenge. It's a good football team. Option-based offense, which if you could pick any way to play an option school, I would pick a lot of time to prep. So that's been a positive for us. But they're really good on offense, and our kids have prepared the right way. I think they're excited. I think they're excited to do something that's never been done here before. So, been a solid week of practice, though.
Your experience preparing for option-style offenses, how much is that going to help you here, or how much has it helped you already in preparation for this?
Yeah, I think it's definitely helped having worked at a place and then coached against it. But these guys are different than your traditional Navy, where it's a flex bone triple option, under center. Everything they do is really out of the gun or pistol. So the timing of it's a little bit different than the traditional old school option offenses, and so they're a little bit more multiple with it. A lot more personnel groupings than a typical option school that'll typically line up in one or two personnel sets. So it's more about option football is disciplined football. It's the, I love playing against it because, it really, you can tell where you're at as a program, and we've been through highs and lows this year on defense, and I think this will be a good way for us to, finish, have a chance to finish on a high note, moving forward, with the guys that we have. So I think it definitely has helped, obviously, playing against similar offenses. And, the kids here played against, Army in the past, so they've seen some option-based offenses as well. But definitely different than anything we've faced this season.
When you look at getting a guy like Brandon Tillmans back, who has been cleared to return, is practicing today, how much does he help in the run game with what he's able to do in his fits?
Yeah, I think Brandon's played well for us at times this season, and so obviously getting him back is going to be a bonus. We need him to play at a high level. And then, some of these other guys are going to have to step up. That's it's been a point of emphasis for us on defense, in particular for myself, is, calling out our linebackers and our linebacker play this week and challenging those guys to play a consistent game that we really, really need to have. Solomon's played, really well for the most part this season. And been a pretty consistent player, but some of those other guys, we really need more consistency. So obviously having Brandon back is an added bonus.
Look at the depth at linebacker, and you have guys like Caper and Williams who have the ability to play this game without losing their eligibility. Does that help that you now have a little bit more depth there than you had been playing with throughout most of the season?
Yeah, at this point, yes, to answer your question, yes. At this point, we're kind of, more set on the guys that we feel like, are ready from a football standpoint. I think those are two guys that this spring and in the future, I have very high expectations for. It's hard. It's really, really hard. Probably the hardest position, maybe outside of quarterback, to come in and play as a true freshman is linebacker. Just a lot of moving parts, a lot of things you got to learn, and an example like Malik, I think Malik's got a lot of talent. We've seen glimpses of it. But when you're coming from small high school football, he's from right down the road from where I grew up, and so I know the level and the type of play, to then going to play, at this level, there's a pretty big maturation process. And so, especially we didn't get Malik, he wasn't a mid-year guy. We didn't get him till really it was July, because when school ended there. So, we had hoped that he would have been able to come in and help us this year, but, I think, he's a guy, Aubrey, as well, that, we're going to have high expectations for in the future.
With you being on the road recruiting a lot the last week, how much time have you been able to get kind of a jump start on game planning for Georgia Southern?
It's really hectic. It's because we tried to watch some film when we're on the road, but when it's different city each day, and our guys hadn't even had the film broken down yet. Because we left the day we found out who we were playing. So, we watched a little bit just to kind of get an idea of what we were seeing, but really not until the last 24 hours have we really been able to sit down as a staff, because we had official visits this weekend as well. So it makes for this weekend in particular was probably one of the more busy weekends of the year for us as a staff, with trying to do bowl prep, trying to finish up official visits, going into signing day.
You talk about the play of Shai Werts and how good he's been in this system, a guy that doesn't turn it over very much. When he does throw it, he seems like he's very efficient. I mean, how well does he fit their system?
He's an option quarterback. He's really good. He's the most dynamic quarterback we've seen. Like when you compare him to Virginia's quarterback, he's got more quick twitch as far as initial quickness. So, I mean, he's the key to the whole offense, like is typical in most option offenses. Makes good decisions on his reads. Tough to bring down. And then if you're unsound on the back end, he'll make you hurt throwing the ball too. So he does a really good job running it and keeping them. The biggest thing that he does a great job is he keeps them ahead of the chains. And first down defense is critical when you're playing an option team. We want to be in second 7, not second 5, and he does a good job. He's a big body young man that can fall forward, and this is accumulation of him. So he's going to come out and he's going to spill it, and they're going to run him as much as possible. But really good football player.
So much you hear about assignment football and the playing against the option, and this is a little different, but you still got the dive, you still got the pitch. I mean, it's still, there's a lot of the similarities. Is it really assignment football, and what does that term really mean?
Yes, it is definitely assignment football. What does the term mean? Everyone's got a responsibility, and if you're playing a standard offense, and one guy screws up, sometimes you get hit, but sometimes they don't see it. You might see it, we might see it, but the quarterback might not see it. Most of the time when you're playing an option offense, if one guy's wrong, you're going to get hurt, and that's the beauty of the offense is, the nature of that, and that's what I like about it as a defensive coordinator is it really challenges and tests us. So it is as assignment sound football as you can get, and so. It's definitely going to challenge us in that regard, and we got to play with great eye discipline. We've got to be very physical. This will probably be the most physical football game in the trenches in particular we've played this season. I kind of felt that way going into the Lafayette game week 2 as far as what it was going to be like on the inside. Really good O-line, and we're going to have to get off blocks and tackle well in space, And so, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if we line up in a 3-4, 4-3, whatever. If we can't play with eye discipline, get off blocks, and be physical, we're going to be in trouble. And that's the beauty of the offense is the stress that it puts on you as a defense.